Everybody, on today's episode, we're going to get into the burgeoning industry, which is kind of a weird word, a massive industry, gaming culture. And the question of whether or not this large industry produces entertainment that's actually worth your time. Let's get into it. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dollars and Cents, Hapo Community Credit Union's Financial Literacy Podcast. We got a couple returning guests with us, Sam and Jacob. Thank you guys for coming back. The last time we had you on, we were talking about whether or not money can buy happiness. And in that episode, we talked about today's topic, which is video games. Yeah. And joining us for the first time, Matt. Welcome to the podcast, Matt, an avid gamer yourself. Yep. Gentlemen, shall we get into the topic of video games and the financial impact of the video gaming industry on society today? Welcome.
Thank you.
Right into it. Good morning.
So last time we talked a little bit about how the purchase price of a video game really does provide hours and hours of happiness and entertainment when you have the opportunity to sit down and play. Yeah. How much have you guys spent in your history on a single game? We'll start with an interesting factoid there.
Okay, if I'm being 100% honest, the most I've spent on a single game is $100.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was like the deluxe edition, came with everything. You know, I think it was pre-order too, which is probably why price was a little bit higher. So I got access to the game like a couple of days early.
You know, beta access.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, not proud of it, but $100.
Well, I think I blew you out the water. Unfortunately, I think mine's north of 200. I think 225, 250. And the reason why is pre-order the game, right? Mm-hmm. The game itself is $100, and then you purchase the virtual currency. There's another $100. Yep. So yeah, easily 225, 250.
Yeah.
I mean, I played Destiny too. So how many expansions?
We're bringing all of them in for this. Then.
I mean, really it is one game, but you talk. I think there's a yearly $60 expansion. So.
That's going to add up over time.
I don't like doing the math.
So I know for me, I have another one, probably a subscription-based situation. I played a number of MMORPGs over the years, and those ones will stack up over time, even if you use the opportunity to pay for 12 months in advance and get that 10% discount. I'm probably in that range. But in a single shot, I think I'm probably up around the $300 range for a single game. Again, It was one of those, here's all of the accessories and pre-order type of things as far as a single shot for one game. Came with all sorts of cool stuff. And if I had to make a guess, I probably didn't play that game nearly as much as I have played games that I've spent $5 on.
Or for free.
Seriously, I can honestly say I probably just not even like a couple of hours on that game. It wasn't anything that I expected it to be. I had a whole other thought that it was going to be like another game that company had put out before, but it was completely different, and it was just not what I liked. So I definitely regretted spending that money because I did not spend much time playing that game. Yeah.
I was going to say, now like we're looking at those, and we're like, how many hours of entertainment did we get out of that? So we'll get to that conversation a little bit later. We did bring up their subscription type games like Destiny 2. Historically speaking, one of the first ones that I can think of, and I know it wasn't the first, but it was the one that really changed the market, was Blizzard's World of Warcraft. That right there, the MMO world, that became a huge thing. I believe World of Warcraft released in, is that 2002 or 2003 timeframe?
Mid-2000s? Yeah, that's right on cue, yeah.
And that game is still going today as a subscription service. Yeah. One of the things that I found looking that one up was apparently on launch day, there were approximately 250,000 people 250,000 people that bought into that game and its subscription, buying the box set itself, and then paying the monthly subscription to start playing that game. Do you guys ever get into those?
Not into that one specifically. It is something that's always interested me, but it's never one that I really got into. I don't really play much PC games. I have more consoles, so and that's exclusively a PC game, right? So I've never gotten into that one, but it is something that I've always been interested in trying. I just never really tried it out myself.
No, I have. I actually did play World of Warcraft for a little bit in the mid-2010s.
Okay.
So same things. It was very big. You had to get the subscription to play. I myself am not a PC player, but it intrigued me. You see the community that they have, it's a lot of players. I didn't realize it launched with that many players, but the game itself offers a lot of content. You know, my first computer game was RuneScape. Okay. So to come from RuneScape to World of Warcraft, I'm like, oh wow, this is a lot more content, a lot more players, and it was interesting. Yeah. It was interesting. Yeah.
I haven't gotten into the MMOs in that, at that scale. I guess a game like Destiny you could call somewhat an MMO, but it didn't really.
I was going to say that one is progressive, but it doesn't have quite the same feel to it.
Yeah, you're definitely not as open world as it would as like a World of Warcraft is, but.
Well, in Destiny, is there a lot of like team versus team combat, player versus player?
There is definitely an arena for that. Most of the game I would say is player versus enemy. So you're either by yourself or in a group, and you are trying to either defeat enemies in the open world, or go through a level, or go through
like a mission, basically.
Or
reach objectives.
Yeah.
So for those out there listening, PvP, player versus player, PvE, player versus environment. I don't think there's actually any sort of a acronym for team versus team. No. But World of Warcraft was one of those games that was very early on player versus environment. It was all the people getting together, going and raiding bosses. And of course, we all remember good old Leroy Jenkins. That is the foundational point of one of the internet's great celebrities. And kind of it built this. One of the things you said that you jumped in probably a decade after World of Warcraft launch, which means one of the things that they've had to do during that entire time was build content.
Yes, and they had to stay relevant. They had to. So it was good. Now I cannot remember a lot of the fine intricacies of the game, right? Now I do remember I enjoyed it because you get to make your character, right? You get to pick from a plethora of different options and then go from there. So that always intrigued me. But you have to stay on top of it. If you don't play, if you don't log in, good luck. Good luck.
And then, of course, you're dealing with people who've been playing for potentially a decade longer than you, who have spent that much time grinding and doing the work in there, hopefully getting their hourly rate down for their monthly subscription. I'm going to shift gears a little bit because while that's interesting, staying relevant, having to do that kind of justifies that subscription cost. Other games that have launched that were free, because we talked about getting free to play games as well. Yeah. One of the originals that absolutely is going to blow your mind, the number of daily players on launch, Farmville. Came out as a Flash-based game in 2011, I think, or 2012, something in that range. And as it launched, over 1 million players day one.
Oh, wow.
Now, when you think about it, you're launching it on a platform like Facebook. There's a lot of potential players out there, and it's free. So how do you get those people? Does anybody remember what everybody hated about social media when Farmville came out?
I think it used to post on your wall, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think it did.
I said that and notifications from all your friends who were playing Farmville. If you weren't playing Farmville and you had friends who were, you were going to know about it.
Oh, yeah. Every day. And I knew a bunch of people who were like, I made a second account just for this. I'm only sending friend requests to people that I know are going to be okay with me sending friend requests.
That's courteous of them.
Well, and that was day one. Farmville ended up, actually the Facebook version of Farmville, if I remember, ended December 31st of 2020.
Oh, wow.
So it was literally just a couple years ago that they shut it down. The only reason it went away was because Flash was no longer supported.
I thought you were going to say Farmville 2 was coming out.
Farmville 2 did actually get released, including, if I'm not mistaken, a third version of Farmville. Really? Both of those were mobile downloads. The company that owned Farmville was Zynga. And Zynga has put out dozens, I think would probably be an understatement, of different games that all follow the microtransaction pattern that Farmville created. There were, I remember stories back when Farmville first came out of people that were budgeting money weekly to spend on Farmville so that they could go harvest their fake corn.
Yes.
Do you guys ever get into games on the social media platforms?
Not on social media. Honestly, I don't really do social media much nowadays, so not on there. But I mean, there's other games with microtransactions that I definitely spend money on.
Well, I mean, Farmville is now available as a mobile game on your phone.
That's true. Yeah. No, I never played Farmville either. I mean, I had social media growing up, but I never really played the games on there either. I was again more of a console guy, you know. I like free roam video games where you can do pretty much whatever you'd like to do.
So you were part of the 80%. At one point, it was estimated that 20% of Facebook users were playing Farmville on a daily basis.
Wow. Gosh, dang. No, I don't believe I've ever played Farmville. Right? I do remember. What was it, MySpace? I think MySpace had games. Now I cannot remember any of those, but as far as Farmville, I don't think I've ever played that. But I did play. They had like Dragonville on your phone. Same premise, right? You're harvesting coins, breeding dragons. Did not spend too much money on that.
There you go.
Thankfully.
Random estimation, 1 in 4 people admit to having spent money on microtransactions for games like this. Now, that number might be a little bit higher because, again, that's admit to having done it. I know I have spent some money on some of these games, but at one point in time, 20% of people were playing Farmville. And then Zynga found this. I believe Zynga bought Farmville from whoever originally created it and then released it as a bunch of other different versions of games.
That seems to happen with a lot of
things.
I mean, we play Wordle.
Yeah.
And that got bought by the New York Times real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one did get picked up pretty quick and turned into, I believe, still a relatively large player base for that one for the New York Times. Do you guys play Wordle regularly?
Not regularly.
Every now and then. I have the app. Do I play it? I got to find the time.
Yeah, same. And I'll be honest, I chat GPT sometimes when I am playing. Like it gets pretty tricky, and I get frustrated. So I'm like, give me some hints, chat GPT.
You got to be careful with that. I met somebody who tried to see how good chat GPT could do, and the first thing it did was run out and look up the answer and gave them the answer in one because it just looked up what the answer was for that day. So like, you didn't give it any restrictions. It's going to go out and do that.
I usually try it a few times, like myself first, and usually when I'm at the last one, I'm like, all right, let's get to ask ChatGPT.
Let's move forward, right?
That was another one of those, though, the social media aspect. I think that kind of plays off of what Farmville did. All of those requests to other people be like, hey, help me harvest this thing. It'll take an hour off of the time that I need to do this. Kind of produced a virality to those type of games, which got more and more people involved in them. And if you're only hitting 5% of the players in a game that are actually spending money, the numbers look like it's anywhere between 5 and 20% based on the games of people that are actually spending money on them. You're still looking at a pretty large chunk of people. 5% of 20 million is a decent chunk of people spending a couple bucks each month or week or whatever. I don't know what I was getting. Oh, that's right. That's the thing I was looking for. I'm trying to remember the year that I saw on this one, but Zynga themselves, over all the different games that they produce, which all seem to be fairly copy and paste, change the theme type of scenarios, posted $2.3 billion in revenue. And I think the year on that was 2021.
Wow.
I might be wrong on that particular year, but it's an estimated $2.3 billion for a company that basically is generating money off of ad revenue and microtransactions.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's not like they have to put out additional content, right? The applications do them jobs themselves. You know, those microtransactions, I feel like they have a really good model, and it sucks to say as a consumer, right? But the model is, well, hey, if you want to take off X amount of hours, you can purchase it. You can, spam your friends list, or you spend the money on it. So it's like, hey, the model itself is, I can't knock it. I can't knock it. It's a very smart model. But
and the crazy thing too that gets you hooked, it's like, oh, it's just a few cents, or a few dollars. It's not. That's not a lot. I got that in my wallet right now, But those dollars add up after a bit of time, and before you know, you end up spending hundreds of dollars in these games.
Well, and you've spent your $9.99 to get rid of the ads. And,
Yeah, I can admit I've spent $5 on a game to remove the ads from it, and then was disappointed with it not removing it all the way. It was like, no, we'll stop spamming you with ads mid-game. Yeah. But if you want to do this thing, you're still going to have to watch an advertisement. Yeah. So I've seen that on a couple of games, and I'm not opposed to spending $5 on a game, especially because I like to support indie developers in certain ways. And if I've spent even a couple hours playing a game, $5 is worth it to me.
For sure. For sure.
I want to see more games come out. I would like to see more games come out without ads on them. But I think the days of getting a fully featured game on release and spending, I remember spending like $20 on full featured games way back in the day when we did not have multi-core PCs. But now those jumping up to $40, $60, now even $80, but not even getting a full featured game for $80.
That too, yeah.
How much of the gaming world have you guys watched shift over your times playing as far as what you get for the cost that you put into it?
It's a huge difference. I mean, I can remember one of the very first few games that I bought was $30, and that game I could play it for hours, especially because of the type of game it was. It was like the open free roam games, so you can just roam around and explore everything. So, and there was a lot of replayability as well. Like the game itself, the story mode took a few hours. I'm not exactly sure how long, but the cool thing about it was I can go back and replay it again, and it was like playing it for the first time again, And it, like you said, it was a full game. I mean, later on they would maybe years later like offer DLCs, downloadable content for like $5, $4.99, something like that. But it wasn't anything that was missing from the game. It was literally an add-on to the game. Nowadays, like you said, you pay $60, $70 for a game, what you think is a full game, and then later on they come out with all these other DLCs. Like, wait, we have another part of it, like the other half of the game that you can play. And the craziest part too, what I think too is like, you don't actually own the game is another thing that I've like recently discovered. Like you just own the rights to play it, but they can easily take that away from you, you know?
Game as a service is what that's being referred to as. Your access to this game up online. I feel like Steam doesn't run that way. Steam allows you to purchase and download the game. But other ones where you're logging in, Destiny probably falls into that type of a scenario.
I would almost guarantee it because at some point they're going to turn off those servers. I think the original Destiny servers are still going, but I can't imagine as they talk about a third one that will continue on much longer. I think the internet really, like your game consoles being connected to the internet really changed the way developers approach making games because they can. So, let's talk PlayStation 2 before the online attachment. When they gave you a disc with a game on it, like that had to be the game. There was no coming back and being like, oh, hey, this isn't working right. Here's the fix. They had to deliver you on the old cartridge base. That was
it.
There was no addition to that. Like it was what it was. So they couldn't hand you a broken game and be like, we'll fix it. It was. I mean, it had to come out as it was. I think it's interesting though that over time we've seen there was a long times where AAA games were stagnant in price. I mean, I think I was probably 10 or 11 years old when games hit $60. And they stayed at that price point
quite a while.
Your main MSRP for a AAA game was $59.99 in the US for 20 some odd years.
Oh yeah, it feels about right.
I mean, it just jumped up 2 or 3 years ago, and it's jumped up again now that the Switch 2 has Mario out for $80. But like it is interesting that they kept that stagnation in price, but we paid for it in other ways over time, and it was interesting watching those companies kind of grapple with not raising the base price, but finding other ways to make money. Because over that time, I can tell you that like my rent went up like 2.5 times. So absolutely. So I'm really glad that the $60 game didn't also go up 2.5 times.
Yeah.
But
well, it's another interesting concept with the consoles before the internet. The internet actually does, I agree, make a major difference in how games are developed and how they're distributed, because we went from console games, which was, like you said, a complete game on a disc or in a cartridge, to you're still buying the game on a disc or a cartridge and you're installing it on, and it's connected to the internet, so you're getting updates to it. Yeah. And then, of course, the storefronts that come along with those and the skins and microtransactions and everything else that come along with some of those games.
Yeah.
I believe that also was kind of where the invent of the Game Pass or the Season Pass came along for some of those, where you've got a free to play or download type of a game. But then if you want this season's content, pay us for this. You can download that now. What is Fortnite one of those that lives on that?
That has to be the first.
I think
not
that
the
would
first,
be
the major, right?
Yeah, if it wasn't the first, it was definitely the one that put it on the map and like made it everybody recognize that that's something that works. You know,
it felt like the battle royales were really the ones that dove into that model headlong. I mean, Fortnite did it. Apex still does it.
Yeah.
PUBG.
Call of Duty, PUBG did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those are like the 4 pillars of
microtransactions.
Well, not even microtransactions, but of that Game Pass style. And now, I mean,
it's in everything.
Now a lot of live service games are using it. Sports games are using it. I mean, everybody's using it.
And in sports games too, like you could even pay to improve. Like it's not like with Fortnite and Call of Duty, it's all just cosmetics. It doesn't affect your gameplay at all. It's just literally just to customize the way that you look. But I've heard in like NBA 2K games, like you can actually pay credits to improve your ratings or
you can either spend the time playing the game and grinding out the stat boosts, or
just pay for it.
You can be like, you know what? I think I just want to be as good as everybody else right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, the question is, how much are you willing to spend to be that good? And can you spend to become like a superhero in a game like that? Just put the stats all to max.
I don't know. Me personally, I don't think I could.
I mean, you can, right? So that's where it shifts, because for me, that's what I play sports games, 2K, Madden, UFC, and to see the battle pass in that is interesting, because that's exactly what it is, right? Someone like me, hey, I get maybe 2 hours a week to play the game.
Yeah.
So, hey, within those 2 hours, do I really want to spend my time grinding, or do I want to spend my time enjoying the game, right? So that's kind of the trade-off, is like, well, hey, I'm going to now spend $80 for the game. Like I said, $150 for the additional credits. I'm like, gosh, and I'm playing the game for 2 hours.
Well, 2 hours a week.
2 hours a week, right? 2 hours a week. So that's where it's like, oh my Lord, you see it in everything now. It's in UFC. Like, how is a MMA style game getting a battle pass? And it's same thing, right? It's cosmetics, it's additional attributes, but it's like, why? I understand why. I know why, right? The model itself makes money, but for the consumer, like myself, the average consumer, I mean, you almost are forced to. Now, I won't anymore, anymore, but...
Oh, go ahead.
You did bring up an interesting word in there that caught my attention. I want to spend my time enjoying the game, not grinding. And I feel like for some people, the grind might be where the enjoyment is, and therefore that person's the one winning in this scenario.
Absolutely.
Where they get to go in there and do that. But much like with the World of Warcraft or the online gaming, if you jump in late and you've got to grind to catch up to where everybody is, they're continuing to move as well. So all those people that paid to get up to that point, now you're paying to catch up to all of them, so you can play and enjoy the game.
Exactly.
And honestly, I'm with you. I'm not grind for fun type of a gamer. If I can have the thing, that would be better than not. But is it worth the money at that point in time? Which is probably why I do a lot of single player gaming.
Same.
Then I don't have anybody to catch up to.
I also think a part of that too, it's not just like we said, like part of the grind is part of the fun for some people, but also just casual playing, and you can't even really play casually nowadays, especially like competitive games, sports games, Call of Duty, Fortnite, because there's people that actually dedicate their life to playing those games, like to make a living, there's the streamers and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So even with those games that you can't pay to get better, there's people that are playing every single day. So like me, for myself, I'm just like, like Jacob, I only play a couple hours a week sometimes. So when I jump on, I'm like, I just want to have fun, play a few games. But as soon as I enter those games, I'm done. Like I get eliminated quick. I'm like, that takes away all the fun from me. And it gets frustrating. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I don't want to play anymore.
Well, and honestly we've got two factors of people that are going to ruin your evening with that. The professional gamers. And if you're coming onto a server with one of them, maybe just enjoy the show.
GGs.
And then like the 12-year-old who doesn't have homework that night. And no hate to the kids that are out playing games. Like that's where we all started too.
As a grown adult, getting talked down to by a 12-year-old it's tough.
Man. And if they have a mic,
and it happens. It happens, and it's not my favorite thing in the world.
A good friend of mine has a son who plays Fortnite, and he is in that 10 to 12-year-old range, and he is I've watched him play, and I'm like, I don't even know what you're doing. It looks like you're spamming buttons like I would in a fighting game. And somehow you built this ridiculous tower that you're now standing on top of.
Absolutely.
And then like, it's one of those where I'm like, I don't know if like Nero spicy aspects help with these things or not, but I know he's got some of those. And like I was like, no, I don't even want to try playing this game against kids like this. Like I'll go back and play my turn-based strategy.
Well, you know what? That's actually funny, right? So for me, I have a cousin, 12-year-old cousin. This shout out to you, Terrence, for this right here. For me, we played Madden together, okay? I'm a football fan. I understand concepts in defense. I understand what the offense is trying to do. I can see, hey, this is a cover 2 shell, so we can manipulate, the defense, the offense, and doing what we want. My 12-year-old cousin, none of that. Picks whatever the game or Madden suggests, blows me out the water. And I don't understand, because in my mind, I'm looking at it from a football point of view, right? I'm like, okay, hey, this is where the weak spot's going to be. This is where the defense should be. No, he's just destroying me. And I'm like, okay, let's set this down. Let's turn this off. Let's go outside. Let's go.
He's running shark wheel for touchdowns every play. And you're like, what's going on here?
So what we're hearing is that it doesn't always translate real world experience into video gaming experience. Before we got started on the episode, we were talking about F1 racing and reaction times, which would be the opposite from what we were chatting about, where can you translate that ability from knowing video gaming into the actual real world of things. And I was kind of shocked to see those numbers. I was interested. What started this whole thing was the reaction time on F1 racers is pretty legendary. 2 milliseconds to react to the light going green and them hitting the gas. Professional first-person shooters, 0.12, 1.2 milliseconds. They're almost twice as fast on the reaction time for those type of things. Kind of where we got to this was we were chatting about like the industry revenue across gaming. And worldwide, the gaming industry, let me scroll back to this number, $187.7 billion worldwide in 2024 on games, content, hardware, accessories, just the gaming industry itself. Of that, just shy of $60 billion is the US market.
Oh man.
This is just one of those things where you're just like, how has this industry become so huge? And getting down into that, like just driving through, like how like the steering wheels for an F1 racing simulators are basically the same as an F1 steering wheel. And like it spawned us spiraling around talking about all of these things and how there's been 1 or 2 guys that have transitioned from games into the real world version of things. I'd be kind of curious to see how your boy would do coaching an actual football team.
He might know something, right? He might know.
He's going to be the next great offensive mind.
This team's just going to run the same play over. It's like
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
At some point in time, that's what it is.
We're just running the touchdown play. It's fine.
You start putting that into real world action, see how it goes. I'd actually kind of be curious where games like Madden are now with the implementation of AI determining what those plays and their suggestions should be. Is the game basically profiling you?
I think it is, right? Because it was, right? Because you can pick a play, right? For example, 4 verts. Everyone's just running straight. I believe the game is going to automatically pick a coverage that should protect it, right? Not saying it will, but you also have to pick that coverage. And if you pick something else, who's to say it's not going to be a blown coverage? But for him, I think he just picks the first play, whatever it is. I'm going deep in the playbook like I'm Bill Belichick, right? But it doesn't matter, So it's like the computer helps quite a bit. AI has to have its hand in it. It has to, because there's no way he knows, right? I'm doing trick plays. I'm looking like Ben Johnson from the Detroit Lions, right? Like the amount of plays that I'm calling in for them just to be blown up, ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I didn't know there was a fake fumble button on that.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So given this, like what other type of games out there are running AI? Back in the day, I know that it wasn't necessarily AI, but the zombie game Left 4 Dead had what they referred to as a game manager. and it would, I'm going to go with algorithmically determine the stress level of the players. And if everybody was playing pretty calm and moving about and no big deals, then it would throw a wave of zombies at you. And when you got a little bit too amped up, it would like take the pressure off. Yeah. So like actual managing of the game, are we expecting to see more of that in the gaming industry?
I don't know. I mean, it'd be nice, I think. Again, it gives it that replayability, you know. But I don't know, honestly.
I mean, I feel like you said, right? I feel like algorithm's the correct word to use in there because I feel like it might have always been there. Now with the use of AI going into everything, I can totally see it being implemented in there, right? Red Dead Redemption, I know Red Dead 2, right, was a very big open world game. Now, if they were to make another chapter or maybe a 3 or something like that, I could potentially see them doing some type of AI. And I don't know how they would implement it, right? But I mean, I could see them doing it.
Those games do get really, really detailed with everything. So I can definitely see it being implemented in that. I was thinking more AI being used in like the PvE types of games, like Rust, you know? That's like you have the ability to join up with other people, but there's also just like the random NPCs running around that are against you, trying to fight you or kill you, or whatever, trying to stop you from advancing. Yeah. I can see them like AI helping them and like actually, because right now it's like they just run at you. They don't really go for cover, and so they're pretty easy to take down, you know. I can see AI making them a lot smarter, going for cover and you know, just being smarter NPCs.
And I can picture it similar to like the Madden game, paying attention to how you play. What is, because it would make sense in a season-long football game that the opposing coaches are watching film.
Exactly.
And they're saying like, oh no, every time it's 3rd and 8, 4 birds running all the way down the line. We're just going to play that deep cover. Somebody looking over the top. But also like in a first-person shooter, if you rely on the same strategy every time or a fighting game, you use the same move over and over and over, and AI kind of, you know, keeping tabs on you and you'd be like, okay, cool, he's going to do this next. We're going to now react and deal with that appropriately, making a game almost customized to how you are as a player.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a very, like, to me, replayable scenario.
Forces you to change your
gameplay.
Change. Yeah, exactly. You
I wonder how much that will be tied into something you can choose to implement as opposed to something that's automatically implemented. I mean, like in all sports games, there's like 5 levels of difficulty usually. Oh, yeah. And a lot of PvE games now, I think we're up to like 3 generally, maybe a 4th, like hardcore mode, but you got your easy, medium, hard.
Beat those first. And
then and then like maybe you unlock an AI mode. I think it was the original Borderlands, like the end game was just like you replayed the game at a next difficulty level up. So is that when we start to see some of that stuff get implemented? Whereas your base run through of a game is kind of standard, and then now it's going to get really smart, and you're going to have to.
I think that would be an interesting way to implement it, but AI is such a buzzword that there's no way a company could put that in as you can unlock AI mode. They'd all be like, come play this AI game.
Well, I mean, my iPhone is still doing it. Right? We're going to unlock AI soon.
Okay, so what it's going to be is the launch day DLC later with the AI. You can pay for this later after the fact.
The game GPT.
Game economics is another interesting one to me. We were chatting the other day about a game that people are actually using to make money. In the game itself, you can convert inventory or currency out of the game into real world money. Now, I know that when I was playing, it was games like Diablo, where you had multiplayer and people would take the very sketchy route of, Jacob, I just met you on this chat board. I've got this item. I want to sell it to you for $5. Let's meet on this server. I'll drop the item. You give me the $5. You pick up the item. Type of a scenario. And of course, you're running a pretty big risk there, whether the person's going to send you the money, and if you send the money, whether the person's going to drop you that item.
Exactly. Yep.
But now being able to actually like transact some of those things. I know some of those games have built actual storefronts into the game for players to sell items.
Yeah. There's one game that comes to mind, and I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called Eve or something. I know it starts with an E, but it's basically, it's an outer space game. There's spaceships and things like that, but like the players are actually, using like real currency there's real jobs in the game. Like people are logging in, doing actual jobs and getting paid for that, like to run the ships and everything. There's captains and
I heard about this.
Evo maybe is what it's called. I can't remember. It's been out for a while now, but
large open world huge, space simulator.
Exactly.
Wow. Is that the one where this was a few years ago? There was a game like that where somebody got into like a clan or a group and they ran a bank. And while like most of them were logged off one day, one person who had
I believe so.
Group, he just basically cleared out this whole group of players and everything that they had.
Yeah, I believe that is the one. Yeah,
and
Goodness.
That's
and then
gonna,
just left, and then just left the game, like cashed out and left the game and never came back.
And my guess is that there were no real world consequences for this because you did everything via in-game agreements with everybody else. And I'd be curious to see how the terms and conditions of that game may have evolved or changed after that.
Since then,
there's a lot of those things. I know, like Pokemon Go, people were like building up an account with a bunch of high level Pokemon and then selling them off to somebody else. So again, so they didn't have to grind to get those levels. People building up accounts to sell to other people. That's been an MMO type of a thing for a long while as well. This has 4 of these type of characters that are all max level with all this great gear. Do you not want to have to grind? Here you go. Buy this off of me.
World of Warcraft had a great model of doing that. You know, it's like, I don't know how legal or in the game terms legal, right? But it's always been around. It's always been around. You know?
I've heard of it on Fortnite. Like I've even playing Fortnite. I've gotten messages from what I'm assuming are fake accounts. Is like, hey, I think your account looks really cool. I'm just interested in buying it off of you. You know, and I mean, people do that because in Fortnite they have like the exclusive skins, or you know, that they come out every once in a while only, or like you can only get them through the battle pass if you pay for the battle pass. So they're not everybody has those, and they're pretty cool ones too. So some people are willing just for that one specific skin, willing to pay for it. You know, buy a whole account off of somebody. So it's pretty crazy.
Well, and beyond that, you've got people who will, for a fee, will take over your account and will just like grind out the hard part for you. And like,
power leveling, you know, in the non-traditional power leveling way. Normal power leveling is you get your friend who's already got the high level stuff to drag you along.
Just ask my cousin to help me out with it.
Soft power leveling.
Like I'm just going to hire this guy who doesn't have anything else going on to log in and play this game for me. And now I'm just wondering why I'm not playing the game and being like hiring my services out to other people. Like if you're the person that loves the grind, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Now, like I'm going to bring us back to that conversation about from earlier about like the time that we put into the game and how much is it worth. Like you mentioned that $100 game, you didn't put a whole heck of a lot of hours into, which means that was a lot of dollars per hour. But some of these other games, when like the one that I think I spent $5 on, that indie game, I guarantee you I have played more than enough hours of it because it's just a random mindless mobile game on my phone, but I'll play it while I'm watching TV. So I have probably spent in the range of maybe like 5 cents an hour to play this game, which means I'm spending way more on my subscription for the TV that I'm watching than I am on the actual game itself that I'm playing while watching it. Like at what point is it worth it to you guys as far as the cost per hour for a game?
Yeah, for me, it's just, I guess I go back to that replayability. Can I, like, once I finish it, would I be interested in going back and playing it again? Or is it just like a one time and done thing? If it is, then it's not worth it for me, you know? And also like the length of the game. Cause I've spent $20 on a game that I beat in a couple of hours, and I was like, really, that's it? I was definitely expecting more, you know? So I was left disappointed. But I've also spent just a few bucks on a game that I'm still playing now. Like Cyberpunk 2077 is a game I'm currently hooked on right now. I got it for $20. It was on sale, you know.
Yeah, and after the updates, though, right?
Yeah. When it first came out, I've heard, you know, it was terrible. Lots of bugs, but now, I've been hooked on that game, been playing it over and over again. And that game again is really cool too, because it gives you lots of options. You can play the story mode, but take different routes to completely change your gameplay. So it's made it really fun for me, and it's definitely worth it. Like, right, if it were to come out now in the state that it is now, and you were told me it's $80, I'd be willing to pay the $80 for it, because I know I'd be able to replay it again over and over again.
How many hours do you think it was that you put in to play through the storyline the first time?
So usually I like to just run it through the first time, just kind of know what I'm doing. I would say I don't know. I don't really.
I was gonna say now we've got like timers on games where you're like you log in, you're like, oh, I am at 27 hours, and this date was when I played it on this save file.
Well, it currently says 127 hours total for the whole game, but I don't like the first time I played it through. I honestly would not be able because I only play a couple of hours a week as well if I have the energy for it too, because it's not just the time. Like, do I have the time? Do I have the energy for it as well? And it took me like if I said days, just playing a couple hours a days, I'd say maybe a week is what it took me to play through that.
All right, because I've got a calculator here, I decided to run the numbers for you. Is this an acceptable price for your entertainment? 15 cents an hour.
Oh yeah. I was scared a little bit right there. I was like,
I would dare you to find another entertainment route that you can get 15 cents an hour.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, if you go see a movie, it's $12 for 2 hours. So you gotta get yourself there. You're saying
and that's assuming
snacks, right?
Yeah, that's assuming you're not getting popcorn and whatnot. Yeah. And half the time, even if you're not going to the theater, it's going to cost you $20 to download a movie on Amazon Prime, and you're going to pay for it at that point if you can't find it for free. So what about for you? How many hours do you want to get a gameplay out of an $80 game?
For me, it really depends, right? So I know I have purchased, Cyberpunk, I've purchased Fallouts, things like that. I enjoy playing them by myself. Single player games, I would love that, right? I think the biggest thing that keeps me playing games is the collaboration. So if I can do online, playing with my friends, playing online, that really keeps me stuck in the game. For sure. I actually looked at some stats myself. I believe UFC 5, I have like 5 or 6 days on there, right? Days. So that, as well as I believe Madden and 2K, they're up there 4 and 5 days, right? And so it's like I'm able to play by myself, right? If nobody's online, hey, I don't want to talk to anybody. I can just log in and play by myself. Don't have to deal with anything. Opposed to if somebody gets on, that's a whole different route, right? Same thing with like Cyberpunk. You can play it single player. You can decide to go off route. So I think for me, the amount of people and just having the online availability nowadays, I think everything is online. Elden Rings was another one that I enjoyed, right? But it's like I don't necessarily come back to those single player games. I have to want to play them. So for me, I always want to be involved with, hey, we're playing Madden today. Hey, we're playing 2K or, we're playing Call of Duty. It's like, okay, So I think for me, it's just a matter of how much friends can I get to play this game, right? How much in my circle can I get to play this game and buy in on it? At that point, is it worth it? I know there's been multiple games, I've purchased, they've probably purchased because of me and vice versa, and we've played them one time and never again, So.
That's why I love the Game Pass model. Especially for single player games. Like I pay a monthly fee for my Xbox Game Pass. It covers my online play, covers all the games in the library. That's where I get a lot of my single player games. I spend a lot of time on online multiplayer games and sports games. I find the ability to play against the computer, or like I like to play. I'm a competitive person. I like to know that there's somebody on the other side.
Yep, exactly.
Even if I'm not talking to them, like I play a lot of NHL. Knowing that there's somebody on the other side who I get to beat is
so
really
you're not
that fulfillingness. No, I understand.
I'm like, man, I know that guy on the other side's not happy right now.
Absolutely.
Growing up playing sports, I've always enjoyed that. So.
So you're not concerned about the artificial intelligence. You want the actual intelligence on the other side of the game.
I mean, at some point, when you're playing, like any sport game, you're playing single player against a computer, there is a level of predictability to that person. If there's a human being on the other side, who knows what they know, what they're good at. Like, does he know this move? I don't know that move, but he might, and that's going to change things.
Are they picking the top suggested play?
Yes,
absolutely. And for me, I know a lot of the games that I pick up are single player turn-based strategy, and I want them to be as difficult as possible to force me into thinking my way through them. One series that I have played almost all of is the Disgaea series, which was PlayStation. It's actually jumped consoles a couple times, and I think they're getting ready to release the 7th game in the series. Oh, wow. And that doesn't include the random offshoot ones that happened as well. But I know the very first game of those that I played was I want to say it was a $50 game when I bought it, and I got 70 to 80 hours out of it to get through the storyline the first time. And it's another one of those games that is depending on how much you want to grind, it is a game that you can grind.
Yeah.
I beat the game, I think, at level 68 for the main character, and the level counter goes up to 9,999.
Oh my
Wow.
Yeah. And it is one of those games where you can make the game harder.
Yeah.
Every time that you want it to be harder, you can go petition the game to be harder, and it will start bringing in higher level enemies.
Yeah.
And it is just a ridiculous level of grindability on things, because not only can you level your characters, you can level your items. You can, there's so much to it that, like, even after the 70 to 80 hours, I'm like, I'm below $1 an hour for this level of entertainment. I'm happy with that.
Absolutely.
I can't get away with that going to like Las Vegas to sit down at a table. I'm probably walking away in an hour having spent $40. This is a whole nother level of cost.
Well, and what is that person who did max level? What was their value? 'Cause I mean, man, like what was their price per hour?
I guarantee they're probably under a cent per hour, given the amount of time required to get to that.
Wouldn't doubt it. They're probably paying him.
So, games that you guys are looking forward to before we close this episode out. What games are coming out? We're right at that time of year where you start to get some really big game releases coming up. Christmas is just around the corner. Parents are going to be out there trying to determine whether they want their kids glued to the TV with a controller in their hand. Mom, Dad, the reaction time of first-person shooter professionals. This is good stuff. Also, like we said, 15 cents an hour for entertainment.
Yeah,
I'd spend that on my kids.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have kids, but I would spend that on them.
And the peace and quiet that you get.
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
So, what games are you guys seeing that are coming out that you're looking forward to?
Me personally, I'm looking forward to the follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima. It's the Ghost of Yotei. That game looks really awesome.
I think that one's from today, coming out like this week.
Yeah, I believe so.
So very soon that one's going to be coming out. Looks very good.
Yeah.
I haven't played the first one because I don't take nearly enough time to sit down and play video games, but I have seen it and it does look fascinating. It's right up there.
It's a beautiful game too. They have a mode where you can change it to black and white and you make it look like old style Japanese movies, and it's just and you can have it in Japanese as well too. So it's like you're watching a movie as you're playing the game. It's beautiful. I love it. And there's a lot of exploration you can do in it too. So yeah.
I think for me, I know the sports games came out, right? Madden had come out, 2K had come out. I think what I'm waiting for now is a new Call of Duty. As well as, I believe, Grand Theft Auto 6, GTA 6 is coming out.
Next year,
Next year. I know they've been pushing that back out for years, right? So, I mean, knock on wood, right? Hopefully we get that one because I'm interested. I'm very interested. I see what they're doing. The game looks good, but it's also been 13 years in the making, so I hope it is good.
I think there's a GTA 5 re-release coming pretty quick.
Sooner than
yeah. It'll be on your phone next. It's gonna be. I was
gonna say, isn't a new Battlefield? Did you say
there is a new Battlefield? I believe that it's releasing soon. That one is also coming. Gosh, there's one more that I'm missing as well that I cannot think of.
Well, pipe in and interrupt Matt while
I'm
he's
spacing
talking.
out right now.
I've got Pokemon Legends ZA's coming out here in a couple of weeks. I've played since I think I was 7 when the first ones came out. I think I've played most of them since then.
Honestly speaking, they were a brilliant franchise as far as marketing everything. Like, you can't beat this one game unless you buy both of them, or at least have a friend who buys the other one, and then you still need to buy this accessory to also do it. That is a franchise that is impressive, as far as what it brings to the table.
Yeah, highest grossing IP in the history of the world, which is kind of crazy. Like, knowing that it's run alongside Mario, but for a shorter time, like for it to have surpassed that seems kind of insane.
And it's crazy
the number of different games and
it's the same game that comes out every time too. It's just newer Pokemon and everything, but they still keep selling.
We're just gonna reskin the entire game
and it works. It works, right?
But we added a new feature. In this one, you get a bicycle.
It's 3D and it's broken.
And yet at the same time, my wife is a huge fan and player of those games as well. I play them mostly because she does, because somebody has to be red to their blue, or diamond to their pearl or shield to sword, whatever it is. It always makes sense to have a buddy playing the opposite side of that one.
For sure.
I have like some of the offshoots now. There's not two of them. There's just the one. The Legends series has had just singles the last couple of times. That's been kind of nice, but. It's they also try some different things with that series particularly, so I'm kind of interested to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
Other than that, the sports games are all coming out. Borderlands just came out.
Yeah, that's what it was. I was like, what am I missing? Borderlands
it just came out a few weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, this is a great time of year. We have another little window in the spring too that usually produces something. But yeah, and especially with the internet, like we've talked about, like games come out all the time.
Yeah.
It's like every week there's a new game, there's an indie game,
and I think that's also like not always a great thing though, because I feel like a lot of companies feel pressure to put out games really quickly, so a lot of times they put them out unfinished too. Like again, Cyberpunk, when that game came out, originally it was terrible, like super buggy. But now, fast forward years later, they've improved it. Another game like that was a No Man's Sky when that one first came out too. People hated that, but the company Hello Games, I believe, is who they are. They've throughout the years have been doing updates, and they're all free too, and adding more content to it. And the game is a completely different game now. It's amazing. It's a great game.
Anthem's like that too. When I played Anthem, it wasn't broken, but I mean, when it was first out, the reason there was no player base when I was playing it was because it was broken when it came out.
I had picked up Anthem when it first came out and then stopped playing it because of that. You did mention indie games, though, and there was one that I did want to bring up because it is a fascinating story in and of itself. They spent a decent chunk of time releasing the second instance of this game. The first game was called Hollow Knight. And the one that just released recently is the sequel to it, Silk Song.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And it is developed by 3 people.
Wow.
The entire studio that put this out is 3 people. And if I remember correctly, they broke Steam on downloads when the game launched. There were so many people downloading this game for $20. And they managed to catch the ire of most of the AAA gaming companies, because they're like, you need to charge more for this because you're making us all look bad. Or at least that's the general consensus among the memes that are out there.
They should probably figure out a better economic model than.
Yeah, exactly.
So these 3 guys made a couple $1 million on launch day. It's a pretty solid investment. I want to say it was probably 4-ish years. I'm kind of spitballing on this, just guesstimating 4 or 5 years or so that since the first one released that they spent building the second one. And they kind of teased it in the first one that it was a thing that could be happening. So there were a lot of people that were waiting a decent chunk of time.
Yeah, it was highly anticipated.
But it released as what would be expected, a complete game to play with a single purchase price. So almost taking us full circle back to that whole, here's your disc, here's your cartridge, go play this game. I have yet to pick that one up, but I do have Hollow Knight. I've enjoyed that one when I did get a chance to sit down and play it. And I'll probably pick up Silk Song, if for no other reason than just to support the indie game industry itself.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we are coming close to the end of this. Does anybody have any final thoughts for us as far as what we've talked about today? Any games that you want to pressure people that are listening to go out and buy for their kids, so you've got somebody on the other end to play against, or thoughts on the rising price of games and their value? Because I think what we found here, in my opinion, is that if you can get the time out of them, they're actually a very efficient cost. Especially if you don't factor in the cost of the PC, or the console itself.
I mean, just advice, I guess, is just wait until the holidays are coming around. Usually a good time. A lot of games go on sale, and you can get console bundles as well. So that's usually what I do. Even though I am really excited about Ghost of Yotei coming out soon, I'm probably not going to get that game until next year.
I was going to say, you've got Cyberpunk.
Yeah, exactly. And I got the first one too. I haven't even finished the first one yet either. So I always tend to wait until around the holidays or until I see that a game is on sale before I make the purchase. Even if I feel it is worth the full price, I still want to save some money, So I'll wait a little bit until like the holidays or just a regular sale.
On that note, I've got a number of games that I would love to get on my Steam wish list because Steam will then email email me and let me know when they're on sale. Like, this is 25% off.
Yeah,
this is 50% off.
No, I think I'll sign up with that too. It's like I always wait for a good sale. So even the games that I want, I'll wait for them to go on sale. So that's a good model. Another thing that I'll sign off with is that we didn't get to talk about it, but was the live streaming. We talked about it briefly. Yeah. The Twitch, the Kick. There's a whole bunch of them, right? But it's like, it's actually a lot of money in there, right? You can make a lot of money just playing your game, right? So, I mean, hey, if your son, if your daughter wants to, maybe it's not all bad that they're just on the game, right? Hey, maybe they're monetizing. And so, hey, they got to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
There's lots of kids out there making money.
Yeah. And I'll piggyback off that. Anytime you are thinking about buying a game, wait for it to come out. Somebody will play it on Twitch. Somebody will play it on YouTube.
Yeah, get a chance
and
to see it.
I mean, with a video on demand, you can kind of see different parts of the game and see if it's going to be something you like. So
I'm also wanting to add on to that. I'm just really happy that they brought back demos, because for a while there wasn't any demos.
That is true. That's true.
And they brought them back.
EA's been doing the 10-hour trial for other games, which is kind of nice. Like, you don't have to get it on day one, but you can play it on day one for a little bit and see
if you like it.
See what it's like, you know? Like,
as most industries, first one's free. Get you hooked right out of the gate. And then hopefully you're coming back and setting up that subscription and buying those skins and not realizing by the end of the month that you've spent, $400 or $500 on this game.
I'm scared to see how much I've spent on Fortnite.
All right, gentlemen, thank you guys for joining us. This has been an absolutely fun conversation. And like you mentioned, Jacob, there's so much that we didn't actually get a chance to dive into on this topic. We will probably have to find a time to do that again in the future, talking about some unique career paths, and maybe streaming and content creators can be a part of that one. Otherwise, this has been Dollars and Cents, Hapo Community Credit Union's financial literacy podcast. Until next time.